This Shabbos, besides it being Parshas Mishpatim, it's also the first of the Dal Parshas, Parshas Shekolim. I would like to speak about this morning, the text didn't go out the title, I would like to speak about the Mitzvah, Midoiraisa of Shekolim. We learned the Parshas Kisisa as a Zeicher of the Mitzvah of Shekolim. So I would like to go into the Mitzvah, speak a little bit about the Mitzvah, be'ikr about the Mitzvah, and a little bit about the Zeicher that we do Bizman Hazeh. There's a Mitzvah Midoiraisa, it's listed in the Minhag Mitzvahs of the Rambam, the other Rishonim. There's a Mitzvah Midoiraisa to give a Machzas HaShekel every single year. This Mitzvah is a Mitzvah only Bizman Shebeis HaMikdash Kayim, to give a Machzas HaShekel. The Makor is what we lay in the Parshas Kisisa, the Pasuk, the Nasnu ish koifer nafshel Hashem, and the pasuk says, "Vayte zeh yitnu kol ha'over apkudim." The Machzas HaShekel that we give every year went towards the collection was to be able to buy karbonis, the carbon tzibur. How was a carbon tzibur ba mishal tzibur? Because it came from this collection of Machzas HaShekel that all of Klal Yisrael gave. So maybe it was a carbon tzibur. That's where it came from. The pasuk says that Hadal lo yamit, Asher lo yarba dal lo yamit. Pashtus, the Pashtus you learn, and that's talk out. The Ramban learns. The pasuk says that he's a lav for a ani to give less, a Asher to give more. This that the pasuk says that Asher lo yarba, Asher can't give more. Imashim ha, he says it could be that the pasuk is just saying a Machzas HaShekel is not a lot. So maybe Ha'asher Yarba, he doesn't have to give more. Maybe we should say that Ha'asher should give more. So that the pasuk says Ha'asher Yarba, which means you don't have to. But since the pasuk also says Hadal Lo Yamit, and over there you can't touch Hadal Lo Yamit should mean, what does it mean Lo Yamit, that you don't have to give less? What would be the tzad that Lo Yamit, which means just like you don't have to give or you don't have to give less? What would be the tzad? You do have to give less. So Teretz says Lo Yamit means that he's not allowed. He's a lav. He's a lav for ani to give less than a Machzas HaShekel, or a Asher to give more. He's over balav. That's how the Ramban learns the pasuk. The pasuk's coming to say a lav.
What's the thing again? The Nekuda is that it's talking about Machzas HaShekel or about...
Or what?
No, we're talking just about Machzas HaShekel?
We're talking about in Parshas Kisisa that we lay. This is the Parsha of Machzas HaShekel, and there's a Mitzvah Midoiraisa every year to give a Machzas HaShekel. We're going to see soon when we speak about the Minhag that there was 3 Nesinas, there was other Nesinas as well, but the Machzas HaShekel that we're speaking about over here, the Mitzvah Ben HaTorah brought in the Minyan HaMitzvahs, on that the Torah says Ha'asher lo yarbe, pasuk tezvav, V'adar lo yamet. You can't give more, you can't give less. So the Ramban says
it's HaShekel. It's not going on any other tzedakah in general.
Which other tzedakah would it go? Yeah, it's going on the Machzas HaShekel. Oh wow. So that's not a shmuz for itself in general tzedakah, but I didn't see that somebody should learn that it's going in general on tzedakah. But the Ramban learns that it's going on a Machzas HaShekel, and the over on a lav, if you give less, you give more. There are 2 shilas asked on this, what had the Ramban. The Ramban is ala Torah. One of the shilas asked is why the Ramban in Minyan HaMitzvahs, when he goes on the Rambam's Minyan HaMitzvahs, the Ramban says you left this mitzvah, this asay, this lav. So why does the Ramban not ask that it's chaser in the Minyan HaMitzvahs la Rambam? That's one shilah. In other words, besides these mitzvahs asay doiraisa to give a Machzas HaShekel, there's also a lav not to give less, not to give more. V'oid, why do you need this lav in the Torah not to give more, not to give less? Tepaklei, it's nichlal in the din Torah of Bal Toisev and Bal Tigra. In other words, the Torah says give a Machzas HaShekel. If you give less than a Machzas HaShekel, you're over on Bal Tigra.
It says, what's lo yisigra?
Bal Toisev and Bal Tigra. Bal Toisev means if you add on. Now, just to explain, first of all, it could be it's laver of b'shnei lavin. You're over sayal to din of Bal Tigra if you give less than a Machzas HaShekel, and also you're over on the din of Adal lo Yamet. That's one. But that's the shaila. Be'etzim lagabi Bal Toisev, that it could be a not over. Because Tosfos says if somebody, a kohen that's Birchas Kahanim, he says Birchas Kahanim 3 times. He goes to Zichar Moshe, goes to Eretz Yisrael, he wants a chaperah Birchas Kahanim. Is there Baal Tosef? There's no Baal Tosef. Doing the mitzvah more than once is not Baal Tosef. Baal Tosef would be if you have tefillin, 4 parshas, 4 batim, and you add on Birchas Kahanim, you add on a bracha to the mitzvah, that's Baal Tosef. So here, adding on to the machzas hashekel, whether a little bit more or you give a double, you give twice a machzas hashekel, that bepashtis you will not be over on Baal Tosef. So that's not a shayla. That's what the Torah says. Even though you're not over on Baal Tosef, however, you should still be careful. You should not add on to the machzas hashekel. That's the exact amount that you should give. But what's about Baal Tigra? What do you have to come about Dal Yamit Clay? Anyways, you can't. You're not allowed to do it because of Baal Tigra.
You weren't the Kayim, but basically you weren't the Kayim. Meaning, if you give one the Matzah Shekel, although we explained why it might be yes here, it's because you're just doing mitzvah twice, but you still did Matzah Shekel. Even if you give it, if you do less than Matzah Shekel, you didn't do Matzah Shekel.
So you have a good point. There's another shaila asked on the Ramban. Taka left it out. There's another shaila. Why do you have to come on? Why does the Torah have to say lo yamit? Avad, if you have to give a machzas shekel, these episodes did not to give less. You're not giving a machzas shekel. When you pay the pidyon aben 5 shkolim, so these episodes then you shouldn't give less. That's how you paid it. So machzas shekel, you have to give a machzas shekel. If you give less than a machzas shekel, you didn't give. It's also a shaila asked in the Ramban. That's what you're asking. What do you have to? Lamaisa is a different shot. There are a few pshatim, other pshatim, but there's a different shot. And this will be meyash of the shailas. Is a different shot. The Rambam in Perik Aleph of Hilchos Shkolim, Halacha Aleph, the Lashon Rambam, ve'inenu noisnoi b'pa'amim rabbis. When you give the machzas hashekel, you can't give it in installments. Credit card installments, pay it. You can't give the whole machzas hashekel. Give part by part. Ve'inenu noisnoi b'pa'amim rabbis hayoy ma'at ulamacher ma'at. Every, you put it. At the end, after a month, you'll have the whole machzas hashekel. You can't do that. You have to give the whole thing at one time. Ela noisnoi kuloi ka'achas b'pa'am achas. That's the Rambam. The Rambam says, Allah, when you give the machzas shekel, you can't give it piece by piece. You have to give the whole machzas shekel in one shot. What's the Makar? The Kesef Mishnah doesn't say what the Makar of the Rambam. We have such a din. Why should you not be able to give it in chalakim? So the Kiryat Sefer, the Mabit from the Achroinim says that he learns V'hadal lo yamit. This pasuk. Till now we're learning what the Ramban says. V'hadal lo yamit means that you can't give less than a machzas hashekel. Sagt him a bit. Vadalo Yamit means he shouldn't be memayit from giving in one shot the machzas hashekel. That's the makar of the Rambam.
Yarba means something else. Basic.
I hear. What does it mean? Not Yamit and part. So what does it mean? Yarba. Good shaila, Taka.
Yarba can mean kapshuta, but Yamit, like you asked before, what's the having going to be Mamai? You're not giving Master Shekel B'chlal.
Let's see, because you're right, Taka. Marba, we said there's no Baal Tosef shaila.
Another reason why a person would, I'm just saying, the way it was said over was more because of a person doing
Yashav also why doesn't mention it as the Rambam is not minded in the Lavan. So we're trying to really say why there's no Lavan adding also. So it's not a Lav, it's just well, it is a lav. It's a lav. It's not a Baal Tosef. What'd you say?
I'm saying there's another reason besides the way it was said that maybe a person would want to give installments, not pashtal financial or giving up day after day, like he said. In tzedakah, there's a mitzvah that's word in Sfarim. I don't know if I'm weird. The opinion is if you could give a dal to one person or a lot of nesinas to a lot of them.
The Rambam. You have to break your midah. It's harder.
Right. So I'm saying here, they're saying don't do it. I don't know if that answers it, but.
No, so that lo yamit
doing marvin, you would think you do a lot in the sinas.
No, but we're going into lo yamit. Lo yamit doesn't mean that you should give less. Lo yamit means you'll give it in installments. So what's lo yarba? I'm saying
with more installments.
No, lo yamit. How are we touching lo yamit? Lo yamit means don't give less amounts. Not that you're going to give less than a machzas shekel. Lo yamit means you're going to give a little bit at a time. That's it. But at the end of the day, you're going to give a machzas shekel. What'd you say? The nesina has to be a nesina of a machzah shekel as opposed to giving a shekel and taking back. The Chida over here in Nachal Kedumim also says along these lines about giving in installments, and that's what the din Torah. The Torah is similar to Gazach. When the Torah says la yamet means you can't give the machzah shekel over amount of time, which really comes out the Ramban. The Ramban doesn't learn like that because the Ramban learns la yamet means giving less than a machzah shekel, but could be giving a little bit at a time. You could do. The Marit al-Ghazi in Bechayres asks on this yesod. He doesn't like the idea why you shouldn't be able to give a little bit at a time. He says just like you find by Pidyon Aben you have to give 5 shkalim. It's lo matzinu that if you give it b'zeh chazeh that it's a problem. You can give the 5 shkalim one after the other. So why shouldn't you be able to give a part of the machzas hashekel today, a part tomorrow over installments? Why not? So therefore he learns it's l'tchatchila to give it in one shot. By Pidyon Aben also, l'tchatchila you should give the whole 5 shkalim in one shot, but it's not ma'akiv, which means, not like what we were saying till now, that the makor of the Rambam is the pasuk, that the pasuk says la yamit, that he's a lav, but rather l'tchatchila, we're not going to go into, but if it's mitzvah, if it's only, he says l'tchatchila you should rather give the whole 5 shkalim, and over here also, the machzas hashekel, not just to give it, but to give it all in one shot. Over here also, the machzas hashekel should be given all in one shot.
Practically speaking, wasn't the reason to give it so you should be able to count the people? Wasn't that one of the reasons for the machzas hashekel, to actually make a count of the people? How do you count people if you have all these partial payments coming in?
So was it? I don't think it was more. But every year, I don't think so. Every year there was a count. Every year the collection was a collection.
I always thought the machzas hashekel had something to do with counting.
We're going to get to it soon, Be'ez Hashem, that there was a few. The one that they counted, which was for the Kroshim, there was 3 nesinas in Parshas Truma, and that's what we do. L'zeicha. We'll get to it shortly, but I think on a regular, I think so. Every year they gave was for the kupa to have to be able to bar karbonis. But you're right. If let's say you need a count avada, if you give it in coins.
At least in the midbar, it was like that's how they counted the people. They counted the shkalim.
But you're saying more that even more. Not only you can't give it in installments, you can still work that out if you give 1 coin then. But even when you give the machzas hashekel, it comes out you have to give 1 coin machzas hashekel. If not, you can't count. If you give nickels and dimes and pennies, you don't know how much.
The total amount is divisible by a half a shekel. You're fine.
You can't here. The Lashon Achsam Sefer, just to read a little bit of it, also says this concept about l'tchatchila, not l'tchatchila to give it together. L'fiani is tight nearly the ein yachal l'tchatchila lachala case loyim. He speaks that also to give it to kahana, but you can't split it up. The kol shenit in the Torah shir in mechalka yahavali chatzi shir. So in other words, even though b'di'evet it's mitzvah l'tchatchila one should give it all together. You have also 1 coin. So over here also you should give 1 machzas hashekel. So what do we have so far? There's a mitzvah midaraisa of giving machzas hashekel once a year, and as we see, not to give less, not to give more, not to give it in installments. Maybe it's only l'tchatchila. The pashtus this mitzvah, which since it's a mitzvah midaraisa, it's to any gadol that's a bar chiyuv, it's mechuyev, right, from 13 years and older. Like anything, a gadol, you become a gadol, you mechuyev b'mitzvahs. It's one of the Tariq mitzvahs, you mechuyev. Lamaisa, the pasuk says, the lashon pasuk right again in Kisisa, kol over al abkudim ben esrim shana umala, which means from 20 and above. So does that mean that the mitzvah is only a mitzvah from somebody who's 20, and that's the pashtus, and that's how Rishonim learn? The Rav brings this when in the Mishnah Perek Alf Mishnah Gimel. So he says that ketanim that are potter from shkolim, ketanim is up to 20. So pashtus, the pasuk with Ben Eser, that's the pashtus. The chinuch learns like that later on the goyin. So that's the pashtus. This mitzvah is a mitzvah only for 20 and above. However, Be'idach, the Tosfos Yom Tov brings Rishonim, the Rambam, the Ramban, as well as others that say that no, that Be'etzem it's really from 13, like any other mitzvah. And this that the pasuk says 20 and above is talking about the truma of the Adonim. There were 3 trumas. Rashi brings in a Parshas Truma. We're going to have it next week. But Rashi brings, there was 3 trumas. It says the word truma 3 times in the Parsha. And the 3 trumas, one was the truma for the Adonim. That was just one time when they built the Mishkan. There was another one-time truma that was to build a Mishkan. Anything you want, you could donate for the Mishkan. And then there was a 3rd truma of Machzas Shekel yearly, and that was for the Karbanos, a yearly collection. So this that the Pasuk says from 20 and above is not talking about the yearly collection of the Machzas HaShekel for the Karbanis. That anybody from 13 and above is Mechuyev. The Pasuk's talking about the Truma for the Adonim. Achloikis, Rishonim, it's the Mefarshi HaMishnah. Bring it, Rav and the Taisus Yamtiv. A nafkamina, which the Poskim speak about. First of all, it's Negeya in the Minhag. We have a Minhag, which we're going to get to shortly. We have a Minhag, Bizman Hazeh, Zeichel Machzas HaShekel. For that mitzvah, we have a Minhag, and we give it Erev Purim. So, B'Yasoidai, this machlokes of when you mechuyev from 13 or from 20 would be the same nafkamina when we do the Minhag also, which the Ramah Taka brings. The Ramah says the Minhag to give Machzas HaShekel on Erev Purim is from 20 and above. Why? Because the mitzvah itself is only for 20 and above. So the minhag as well is also from 20. Just a second. We're going to get to the minhag clearly, but the minhag is from 20 and above. The Bogan Avram says that it depends on the smachloikis. If you hold like the Rishonim that be'etzim mechuyev from 13, so mele mechuyev from 13 as well. Lamaisa, the Mishnah Berurah brings this smachloikis. It's not really negeya because we're noyeg already. We're shaykel for ktanim also. I'm even noyed even from Uberes. So we do fiktanim. This shail doesn't really happen after, but B'Yasoidai in the minhag that we do zeichel Machzas HaShekel would depend what the essence of the mitzvah is. That the mitzvah is from 20 and above. So under 20 there's no zeicher also not. And then when they built the Mishkan, whatever you want, anything you want to bring, Zov, Tcheles, Argaman, a whole list, whatever is needed for the Mishkan.
Whoever wanted gave Machzas HaShekel?
No. The Machzas HaShekel, the coined Machzas HaShekel, was relevant Lagabe giving for the Karbanis. The general collection, anybody who wanted, you could give more, you could give whatever you want. Parshas Truma, the Psukim in the beginning, any material that you wanted to give, you could donate for the building, for the cause of building the Mishkan.
And why is Machzas HaShekel after the Minhag?
Well, I'm not going to cover that, but we'll get to the minhag a little bit at least, to handle, and also 3. There's 1. We're going to get to that, Be'ez Hashem, hopefully.
Yeah, just the 20 and above has something to do with the census also, because like you see when they report on how many males above 20 and in the army is above 20, it's like all tied like that.
She's saying for the counting, Kalai Kudim more than the collection. A very clear nafkamina of when the Chiyuv Shkolim is from the age of 13 of the age of 20 would be the following. Either it was last year or 2 years ago. I gave a shir Lagabi the din that Musaf, Karva Musaf. Now I have to be careful not to.
No, I'm thinking of other days and when the guy is a bar mitzvah or not.
That was last year because it was a leap year. Yeah.
Somebody just said.
Oh, very good. This is a new shir. I made sure, We spoke, was either last year, 2 years ago. Taka maybe it was 2 years ago because last year was a Ibriyar. But we went through there's a Shittish of Kiveger that says that since Karban Musaf, how was the Karban Musaf brought? It was brought from the Machzas HaShekel, from the Karbanas Sibur. And since Noshim are Nismayit from Machzas HaShekel, Memela, which means that the Karban Musaf women were not included. They just weren't included because the money didn't come from them, the Machzas HaShekel. So Memela Kivega says, Amari de Gechidish, that ladies are not mechuyev in davening Musaf. Yeah, it was a whole shir. The same shaila would be Lagabi a bar mitzvah bacher up until the age of 20. The poskim speak about it. Since the mitzvah of Machzas HaShekel, just like we said, ladies on the smayit, they don't have the mitzvah. So if the mitzvah of machzas hashekel is only from a 20-year-old and above, so it comes out from a 13-year-old bacher, a bar mitzvah bacher, is not included in the carbon musaf, and if he's not included in the carbon musaf, he's not mechuyev in musaf also, davening musaf. Now, a cotton also, chinuch davens musaf, that's okay, he could daven, but the nafka mina would be about a bar mitzvah bacher davening musaf for the amud, being moitzi. Davening for the amud is also not mamash being moitzi, but that's what would happen after minna. Of course, a 13-year-old would daven musaf, but the shaylos maybe he's not mechuyev in tefillas musaf. The poskim speak about it. They dan up the Mikroi Kodesh to Pesach Frank. Others in Be'er Yitzchak, the Kovenarov, speak about it. But Lamaisa, they all come out for various different reasons that Lamaisa they are mechuyev. Some even want to be machalik. In Tzitz Eliezer wants to be machalik between ladies that are not mechuyev and a 13-year-old that's not mechuyev. We're not going to go into it, but lamaisa, seemingly lahalacha, seemingly lamaisa lahalacha, it's clearly that a gadol from 13 to 20 could yes daven musaf and be moitzi acherim. Let's go now a little bit into the minhag. So we covered a chelik of the mitzvah. Obviously it's a lot to talk about, but this is in the overall of the mitzvah, midoraisa. It's only noyeg bezman shebeis hamikdash kayim, a collection for the karbanos. In other words, we can't do machzas hashekel now, and we'll makayim the mitzvah, and we have a box, and we'll save it for when the beis hamikdash comes. We can't. It's only bezman shebeis hamikdash kayim when there are karbanos. You can't give less, you can't give more, and we discussed about the age from 13 to 20 if these are chiyuv or not. Now that we don't have a Beis Hamikdash and we do not have the mitzvah, we lane to depending what the zecher is. Could be, I think I spoke about this a few years ago also. However, we do a zecher for machzas hashekel erev Purim. We give either by mincha before the Megillah. We give 3 machzas hashekel per person. We'll soon see not everybody gives 3, but where does the 3 come from? The 3 comes from, as Rashi brings, that there were 3 trumas. There was a truma for building the Mishkan. You could give whatever you want. There was a truma of building the Mishkan, the part of giving for the Adonim. And then there was a yearly truma, a truma that you gave a machzas hashekel for the karbanis. So since there were 3 trumas, zecher to the 3 trumas, for a zecher we give 3 machzas hashekel per person. You come to shul, you give for you, for your wife, for your kids, so you make a cheshbon. But 3 machzas hashekel per person, though what we read tomorrow, Shabbos, the mitzvah ben HaTorah of machzas hashekel is 1, we give 3 zecher to the 3 trumas.
And the other trumas had nothing to do with machzas hashekel, or they were with machzas hashekel?
The Adonim, 1 second. The Adonim was a machzas hashekel?
So it's just a zecher.
Bekala gogol shenas ma'adonik mashva. So that's the zecher, the 3 machzas hashekel for the 3 nesinas. The Kaf HaChaim, I don't know if that's the minhag by the Sfardim, but the Kaf HaChaim says not to give 3, to give 1. The Sfardim, when they have the minhag erev Purim, how many machzas hashekel do they give?
We give our values a little different. We have to give the real currency of silver.
Like of a shekel of the.
Yeah, whatever silver is worth now, we have to give that 3 portions of that.
But not just to use a silver $50, you actually pay the value of that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Which is more than $50?
Yeah, much more. 13, 12, 13.
So we have to make sure to have it. People that want to be Makayim, to have.
We still use 3 coins, but we'll give more money.
But interesting, you're saying about the value, but the Kaf HaChaim says, why would you give 3 machzas shekel? We're doing a zecher to the machzas shekel that was the mitzvah of every single year. So that, for every year, that mitzvah, that's only the machzas shekel that we gave for the karbanos. So why should you give the other 2, side the ones for the adonim, and side the donations to build the Mishkan? That wasn't every single year. It was a one-time donation when they built the Mishkan. So maybe the Kaf HaChaim says that you should only give one machzas shekel. So if it's more, it's a bigger value. It's good. Maybe anyways 1. And he brings, that's also at the Goyin, a Maisarav. The Goyin also says only to give 1.
What's accepted that it's the half of the current currency,
I think so.
wherever you are?
Yeah, I think in Eretz Yisrael it's half a shekel as the half a shekel of their currency. It's just interesting to note that the Goyin, even though the Kaf HaChaim says that the Goyin says only to give 1, the Goyin in Aderes Aliyo and Parshas Kisisa, I'm not going to go into the arichas of it, but the Goyin says that all the mitzvahs, all the nesinas of machzas shekel and everything they gave, that wasn't Ladoiris. The mitzvah of Ladoiris that we're speaking about now, this whole morning, about giving a half a shekel for the karbanis, says the guy, that's Allah Moshe Misinai. We read Parshas Kisisa because it speaks about the machzas shekel. But Lamaisa, the machzas shekel that we give is God Allah Moshe Misinai. So, and therefore that's why he says we only give 1, because we're referring to that one. We're not even, if we would give all 3, means if one of the 3 of the nesinis would be the yearly machzas shekel, maybe Taki you would give all 3. But once it's part of it, you give 3 for the 3 of them. But he says no, it's neither of the 3 of the machzas shekel. The machzas shekel that we give for the karbanis is God Allah Moshe Misinai. Just before concluding, the Mishnah Sacha says that when we give the machzas shekel, the zeicher la machzas shekel, it's a zeicher because we want to have the kapara, we want to have b'ma'or the schus. So mamela we give 3. The Kaf HaChaim asks, why do you give 3 machzas shekel? Hold on. Really, what we're doing a zeicher is only a zeicher of the yearly collection, which was only 1 machzas shekel. So he says no. The zeicher that we're giving is God the zeicher to remember, to be ma'or kapara. So that, even though it was only the first year when they built the Mishkan, Mameli you give 3 machzas shekel. Just to conclude, in the concept of how many you give and zecher to how many you give, these are Yerushalmi. It's in Yana de Yomi. There's a big siyum Yerushalmi last night, but the Yerushalmi, I'm just going to read the lashon. It's not even clear. It's like a hard, the different mefarshe, the Yerushalmi. It's not clear exactly, but the Yerushalmi. Let's see if I have the lashon. The Yerushalmi seems to say that maybe they gave 3 machzas shekel. Maybe it's just a havamina. I think the Pnei Moshe learns like that lamaisa. But I'll end off shir with the oil this Yerushalmi in Perik Beis of Shkolim. Reb Chilkiah b'shem Reb Acham akan shetzorich adam l'shalish shikloi shloisha pa'ama b'shana. In other words, you give it 3 times a year. So what does he say? That you give 3 shalish pa'ama b'shana. The Pnei Moshe, others learn differently. Does it mean that they gave 3 times a year a machzas shekel? Is that what the Yerushalmi means? The Goyin on Shulchan Aruch to the Ramah that says that our minhag is to give 3 machzas shekel, the Goyin brings this Yerushalmi. I didn't find the Yerushalmi. He's mitzayin to this Yerushalmi, which would seem that the Taka gave 3 times a machzas shekel, and that's what we're doing, a zeicha 3 machzas shekel. Me'idoch, others learn, the Mefarshi Yerushalmi, I'm not sure who this is, because the Mefarshit, they learn that to give 3 means to split the machzas shekel into 3. that goes into the discussion we had earlier today. Could you give a machzah shekel broken up in installments? And that's what the Yishalmi says that you do. Maybe the Yishalmi later changes not to. But Al Kaponim, just to be Messiah over here, the minhag is to give 3 machzas shekel. The Kaf HaChaim says only 1, and the Goyin also says 1. But the Ramah Lamaisa says you give 3, and could be the Goyin is Messiah to this Yishalmi that says that a person, again the Lashon Yishalmi, Mekan shetzarach adam l'shakel shikli shloisha palm v'ashana. Have a wonderful Shabbos.
The Shabbos Shikli, the words,